you would like, I can give you some time to share whatever you would like with the audience. Is that cool?
So I created a online bookstore called King's Homage. And when I was thinking of a name to create this project, this business, I wanted it to reflect my brother. And I felt like the name needed to reflect his name. And his name is Ikeel, and it is derived from my father's African name, Akil, and which means king. And so to pay homage, to remember my brother, I named my bookstore King's Homage. To, for myself, to allow his memory, his energy, his spirit to live on in that name. I am paying homage to him. I am paying homage to every author of color, a Black author, a Jamaican author, someone, an African, Nigerian, Ghanaian author, and the stories that they tell by honoring all of our stories. And so that is what King's Homage is. It's honoring my brother. It is honoring the stories that we tell, and not just the sad ones or the traumatic ones, but all of them. And so I wanted to share just the names that we give not only our children, but our businesses. We are speaking life by the name that we choose. And choosing a name, such a powerful gift to even have the opportunity to choose. So to keep that in mind. And last, I want to say, as a mother and as a Black woman, I always want to share and educate the awareness for sickle cell. I'm a sickle cell advocate. I am the mother of a sickle cell warrior. And I want to remind us to know if you carry the sickle cell trait, if your partner carries the sickle cell trait, understanding what that means when you choose to have children. And then even if you don't have children, but you know you have the trait, understanding what that means for you, because there are implications for just having the trait. So support sickle cell awareness, support sickle cell research, support someone or anyone, because this is a disease that primarily affects Black people, people of color, and it is disproportionately underfunded, under-researched, and under-supported. So thank you for listening.
Awesome. I didn't know that. I have the trait. I didn't know that. My parents told me that I think they both had the trait, but they didn't find out until after. And so my sister does not have the trait, but I have the trait. And so I didn't know that there were implications for me to be like, what do I need to know? I just knew not to have children with someone else who had a sickle cell trait.
Yeah, that's all that they tell people. But some people who have the trait, you will you can experience sickle cell related crisis. So because you have literally, we all have red blood cells, right? Your red blood cells, my red blood cells. We have round, normal red blood cells, and we have sickled cells. They're all swimming together. Yeah, we do. And so when you go to high altitude, you may experience that, we all experience when you go to high altitude, that cold temperature constricts your blood vessels.
Yeah.
So because you have some blood cells that are shaped like a sickle, once they get constricted, you can experience a sickle cell-like crisis. I'm in the state of Florida, right? So there have been too many cases of student athletes dying from exhaustion, dying from what's the word when you don't have enough water? Dehydration.
Dehydration. Yep.
And they have the sickle cell trait. And it's because in extreme situations, extremely working out, extreme high temperature, you can experience a sickle cell-like crisis. And a lot of people don't say that because there's not enough research done on sickle cell trait. And the medical community has said, if you have the trait, you will experience no symptoms.
Which is not true.
Which is not true. But it's also not true, because you can absolutely go through your whole life and not experience any symptoms. And then you can absolutely experience symptoms, but you would not know that it's because you have the trait, because you've kind of like written it off.
Yeah.
You know, but when I first, so FAMU's in Tallahassee in the state of Florida, and Tallahassee is at a higher altitude than Miami.
Okay.
So when I first started to go to school in Tallahassee, my first semester, I was experiencing the symptoms of being in a high altitude. I was getting really dizzy, really lightheaded. I just didn't know why was I feeling like this?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until someone said to me, "Oh, you have the trait." And I was like, "Yeah, what does that mean?" And they're like, "Yeah, but this is different. You've never been here before. You know, you've never experienced this before. So your body is reacting to this high altitude. It's not like it's a crazy high altitude, right? It's not like it's Colorado or anything, but it was just different for me, you know? And my entire life, I had been an athlete, and I would have chest pain that no one could explain why I had this chest pain. I was required to do a stress test every year in order for me to have clearance to run track, because I would have chest pain and no one could explain why I had this chest pain, right? So there is just that one implication of being in an extreme hot, extreme cold temperature, that your blood is going to be impacted by that constriction or that exhaustion. The second implication is there is a very rare kidney disease that primarily affects people with the trait.
Yeah. Yeah. My best friend's mother, she died from that when we were like 11 or 12. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's things that happen, and people just think you just can't have a child, which is the biggest thing, right? Yeah. You know, it's very important, you know, not to have a child with someone else who has a trait, because you have, you know, a 25% chance of having a child with sickle cell. And for me, I had always known that I had the trait. My son's father did not know he had the trait. And I just knew that. I was like, okay, he says he doesn't have the trait. I'm good. You know, but people just don't know, because no one ever told them that they had the trait. And so if someone never told you that you had the trait, you just assume that you didn't. And I think I want to say it's like of a certain age, it became a test that was done nationally for all babies born in this country. Right? But if you're dating someone who was born in another country, they may not know if they have the trait. And I think it's just important for people to know if you have the trait or not. Don't assume that because no one ever told you that you don't have it.
Right.
And there are different types of sickle cell, and a lot of people don't know that.
I didn't know that either. Yeah.
So do you know what type of trait you have?
No. Yeah. I just know that I have the trait and my sister doesn't. That's what they told me. So yeah, I have some research to do. I didn't know it was this expansive at all. Like you said, I just knew not to have kids with someone who had the trait, and that I wasn't affected because I just had the trait, not the disease. So yeah. Okay.
There's a lot.
I'm so glad that you said that, because I cannot wait to share this with people so that they know too.
Yeah. I think, you know, even just not I could say it's not just a Black disease. It really isn't. Because there are people who are white, and I mean like white, like Italian white, who have sickle cell. Outside of the US, outside of Africa, right? Italy has one of the highest rates of sickle cell. And people don't talk about that or know that because people associate having sickle cell with being Black.
Yeah.
But sickle cell was a mutation. We are all mutants, okay? But it is a geographic mutation. Okay? It is a geographic mutation because of malaria. So a lot of what they call Mediterranean region countries have rates of sickle cell. So you can be from India and have sickle cell. You could be from Italy and have sickle cell. You can be, in any one of the islands, of course, because of slavery, Black, American, Brazil, and you have it. And then you have to think, it was a mutation that was, let's say it was all Black people. All Black people did not have children with all Black people.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking about when you said Italians, because I was like, earlier Italian people were, they were like equal
Very
to
possible.
Yeah. So, okay.
But here in South Florida, we have, so I'm a part of a nonprofit here, and there are people who you would see them and think white Hispanic, and they have sickle cell.
Wow.
Yeah. Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, they also carry the trait and have sickle cell. I think people should just know. Like, I carry this trait for S. That's my trait. My son has sickle cell SS. So his father has trait S. I have trait S.
Okay.
Trait S gives you SS, which is the worst case of sickle cell.
Okay.
Right? You could have the C trait, and you could be with someone who had the S trait, and your child would have SC, which is still rough, but it's one of the what they call more milder cases of sickle cell. Someone could have S, someone could have the letter E. There's the letter D.
There's so many then.
Yes. Some people have beta thalassemia, which is also a form of sickle cell. And a lot of people don't find out that they have beta thalassemia until they're pregnant, because they have extremely low iron when they're pregnant. So, yeah, there's a lot.
There is a lot. Thank you for educating me.
You're welcome.
Wow. Okay. How are you feeling?